Hi, welcome to Snehidiye, your soft little corner on the internet. There's a very specific kind of loneliness that exists today. Not the loneliness of physically being alone, the loneliness of feeling socially surrounded yet emotionally untouched. You can spend an entire day interacting with people, replying to messages, watching stories, sending memes, sitting with classmates, talking to coworkers, and still end the night with the strange feeling that nobody truly knows you. Modern friendship often feels emotionally lighter than it used to, less rooted, less dependable, less intimate. And I don't think this happened because humanity suddenly became cold or selfish. I think society quietly changed the conditions required for deep friendship to exist. Because human connection is not built from communication alone, it's built from shared environments, repeated encounters, unstructured time, mutual dependence, physical presence, and emotional vulnerability. Modern life weakened almost all of these things simultaneously. For most of human history, friendship was not something people had to aggressively seek out. It emerged naturally from shared living. People existed around each other constantly. Villages, neighborhoods, religious spaces, schools, local stores, community gatherings, parks, libraries, sports clubs, street corners. Humans repeatedly crossed paths with the same people until familiarity slowly became closeness. This matters psychologically because friendship deepens through passive consistency, not intensity. You don't become emotionally connected to someone through one deep conversation alone. You become connected through accumulated presence. Seeing someone repeatedly learning their rhythms, sharing ordinary moments, experiencing boredom together, this is something modern society increasingly lacks. Today, many people move between isolated environments such as home, work, and individualized digital entertainment. Public life has weakened, community life has weakened, and friendship now requires far more intentional effort than it once did. Sociologists use the term third spaces to describe places outside home and work where human interaction naturally happens, and their decline changed social life more than people realize. Third spaces once acted as emotional infrastructure for society, places where strangers became familiar, acquaintances became friends, communities formed organically. But many of these spaces have slowly disappeared or transformed. Cities became more expensive, public areas became commercialized, people work longer hours, neighborhood culture weakened. Many spaces now revolve around spending money quickly rather than lingering socially. Even malls, which once functioned as casual social environments, became increasingly transactional. Modern culture also became heavily productivity oriented. People feel guilty existing without purpose. So, unstructured social time, the exact thing friendships thrive on, began disappearing. Now, many interactions happen only when there is a specific reason: work, networking, events, appointments, deadlines. But human closeness usually forms in the unscripted moments between structured activities. And modern life has very few unstructured moments left. Social media did not just change communication, it changed how humans psychologically experience friendship itself. For the first time in history, people gained constant low level access to each other's lives. You no longer need to ask someone how they are doing. You already saw their vacation, their outfit, their relationship update, their emotional breakdown, their achievements, their carefully curated personality. This creates an illusion of closeness. A person can feel familiar to you without actually being emotionally integrated into your life. Social media also shifted friendship from active participation to passive observation. People now keep up with each other instead of deeply engaging with each other. You watch people live more than you live alongside them. And because everyone is continuously broadcasting fragments of themselves, many interactions lose depth even before they begin. Conversation used to involve around discovery. Now people often feel pre-exposed to one another. At the same time, social media introduced performance into friendship. People increasingly manage how they appear socially. Humor became branding, opinions became identity, and vulnerability became curated presentation. As a result, many friendships feel emotionally filtered, not fake necessarily, but edited. Another major reason friendships feel weaker today is that modern people are psychologically overwhelmed. Constant stimulation affects emotional availability. The average person today is managing financial pressure, identity anxiety, career instability, information overload, algorithmic distraction, social comparison, and even chronic nervous system overstimulation. People are mentally crowded and emotionally crowded. People struggle to maintain depth in relationships, not because they don't care, but because deep friendship requires emotional energy. It requires remembering details, checking in constantly, being patient, listening attentively, making time for each other, and repairing misunderstandings. But exhaustion pushes people towards convenience, which is why many friendships today become intermittent. People care about each other genuinely, yet struggle to sustain emotional consistency. Many individuals are operating in survival mode while trying to maintain social lives on top of it. Modern culture also promotes an intensely individualistic worldview. People increasingly organize life around personal optimization. Your goals, your growth, your healing, your career, your productivity, your identity. This creates a subtle shift in how relationships are perceived. Connections become evaluated primarily through personal benefit. Questions such as: does this drain me? Does this serve my growth? Does this align with my energy? Arise. Some of this language is psychologically useful, but taken too far, it transforms human relationships into transactional experiences. Deep friendship is not always efficient. Sometimes it is inconvenient, messy, demanding, emotionally uncomfortable. Older forms of community often survived because people tolerated imperfection in one another long enough. Modern culture, however, encourages rapid detachment. If something feels difficult, people often withdraw rather than work through the discomfort. As a result, many relationships remain emotionally fragile. There is another subtle change happening. People no longer inhabit the same cultural reality. Algorithms personalize everyone's experience of the world. Two friends can live completely different psychological lives despite sitting beside each other daily. Different feeds, different information, different fears, different identities, different online cultures. In previous generations, shared reality and shared media created stronger collective experiences. Now, reality itself feels fragmented. And when shared reality weakens, social cohesion weakens with it. Friendship becomes harder to stabilize because people increasingly exist inside separate, personalized psychological ecosystems. I don't think modern people have lost the desire for connection. If anything, people are starving for it more than ever. But many are trying to satisfy ancient emotional needs through systems that were never designed to nourish human intimacy. Humans evolved around presence, community, slowness, repetition, shared environment, and mutual dependency. Modern life replaced many of those things with speed, performance, optimization, digital interaction, and passive observation. And the result is a world where people can remain socially visible at all times while feeling emotionally invisible underneath. Maybe that's why modern friendships often feel empty. not because humans stopped caring, but because society slowly removed the conditions that once allowed connection to deepen naturally.